Welcome to our 7th lesson on Google Sheets. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the basic and most useful keyboard shortcuts, which is assigned with the commands in Google Sheets. Well, this will help you to make your work a lot more easier, fluent, and efficient while using Google Sheet. I've prepared a sheet for you, which will be inside our resource file, which you can download and use it later on. So without any further ado, let's just jump into the lesson by opening up Google Sheets. As you can see on my screen, I have a couple of these shortcuts on the spreadsheet, which I can use whenever I want, and they are assigned to specific keywords or specific, let's say, commands. So let's start off with the first one, which is Control+N. So what does Control+N do? It will basically make up a new tab for you so that you can work on afresh. But as Google Sheet is online and I'm using it on the browser, it will basically open up a new, let's say, panel for me. When I press on Control+N, you can see a new Google panel has been created. So I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to stay on this. But when you are using, let's say if you've downloaded Google Sheet as a software, it's going to make up a new format or a new spreadsheet for you whenever you're working with it. Then we have is Control+O. Well, most of the shortcuts which we see over here are basically the same one which we use in Microsoft Excel. Okay, so when I press on Control+O, it will open a file panel which we have in our File tab. You can open up the recent files which you've worked on, or from your drive, or shared with you, shared, or you can see the computers or uploaded, whichever one you want to use. You can select on Control+O instead of going through File and clicking on Open so that it doesn't take up a lot of time. Okay, so you just have all the commands on the tip of your hands or tip of your fingers. Then we have is Control+S. Well, Control+S is basically to save up your data. It saves up Control+S and it will save up your data. But one thing is that it's kind of unnecessary in Google Sheets because it doesn't actually need saving, because it already saves up all of the progress which you do directly online through this cloud drive or through your Google Cloud, or let's say your Google Drive. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. But eventually, if you are using offline, then you can use Control+S to save up all of your progress and then work on later on without, getting into the hassle of working on about it over and over again. Then we have is Control+W. Well, Control+W helps you to close off the whole window. Okay, let's press Control+W and you can see Control+W you can see that it has been opened or removed. Okay, so what we're gonna do over here is going to be taking this off. Now I have another panel, but now what I'm going to do is going to be opening up another panel, or let's say I'm gonna go back to that. So I'm gonna do is click on our history and open it up again. As you can see that it has opened up. Now let's go to Control+C. So you already know about the cut, copy, and paste function. Okay, so I kept them all together. Control+C for copy, Control+X for cut, and Control+V to paste. Let's try doing it. Control+C, Control+C, and to paste it, I'm gonna press on Control+V. You can see it has been pasted. What if I wanna cut this out? Control+X to cut it off, Control+V to paste it. But when I press Control+C and paste it over here, Control+V, you can see it is being copied. But I don't want that, so I'm gonna do is just remove them, and I don't want any of these. Okay, so if you want to remove these borders, okay, so what you're gonna do is click on this and select on border and click on no borders, and the borders will be removed basically. So I'm gonna click on them and click on no clear borders. You can see the borders have been cleared. I'm gonna click on this, clear border, and no borders will be visible. Then we have is Control+Z and Control+Y. Control+Z and Y basically plays up the redo and undo function. So let's say I'm going to press on Control+Z. You can see it has been undone. I'm going to press on Control+Z again. It has been undone. Control+Z, undone. But what if I want to redo my progress? Instead of going to redo over here, just press on Control+Y. You can see all the progress has been redone. So now you know how you will be able to cut, copy, paste, and also redo, undo without using your mouse. Then we have is Control+P. Well, Control plus P helps you to go off to your printing section or your printing settings. Press on Control P and it will open up this print settings for you directly. Now you can also see the paper, how it is. You can see landscape or portrait, whatever you want. You can also fix up your paper size, your print sheet, which sheet you want to print, fix the formatting, headers and footers, all of them all together. So I'm going to cancel this up. Then we have is Control plus F. Control plus F basically helps you to go through the section or use the tool or functionality of finding. Control plus F and you can see you can find in sheet. Let's say I'm going to find on CTRL. Hit on enter and you can find out that all of the CTRL or control function or the keyword is available or where it is visible. Then I'm going to do is cut this off as I don't need it anymore. Then we have is Control plus Home. Control plus Home basically helps you to find out the first, or let's say the homing cell. Control plus Home. Also, I'm going to click on this. Control Home. Okay. It will basically select. I'm going to press on, let's say, Control plus End first. Control plus Home. I'm going to do is press on Escape. Control Home. And I'm going to go off to my first page in, let's say, Google Sheets. Or let's say I'm going to do is Control Up in the bottom. Okay. This is basically how it works. Now let's move on to our next keyboard shortcut, which starts with Shift and Enter. So when you are navigating by using Google Sheets, what you basically do is use your left arrow, right arrow, up and down, and use your mouse right and selecting it with your left mouse click. But here, what you can also do is click on Enter so that you can skip a cell. Okay, instead of making some spaces in between them, you can hit on Enter so that you can shift some spaces in between lines or cells. Now, another one is going to be if we know all about our navigation. What Enter does is go down, right? But when we hold on a Shift and hit on Enter, it will go up. So this is basically like the alternate, okay? So this is basically how alternating works. You can hit on Enter and hit on Shift Enter and it will go the opposite. So now you know how this navigation works. Then we have is Control A. Most of the time when you are selecting a cell or selecting a range of data or the whole range of data, what you do is select it like this, right? But what if I tell you that you can just select all of them all at once with a single shortcut key? Select on any of the cells, Control A, and then you have it. The whole range of data has been selected. Okay, now you know how you'll be able to select all of them together. But if you want to select it like this, you can also do that. First off, what you have to do is select on any cell or the cell which you want to start it off. Control and then End. You can see it is at the end, but what we're gonna do is going to be going on at the top. Now first I'm gonna select this. Control Shift right left. Now you know how this basically works. Or Shift at the bottom. Okay. Now the next thing we're gonna learn about is going to be Control F2. When you press on Control F2, it will also give you the same function, how you can open up the printing section of Google Sheets. You can see when you press on this, it will give you the same function or the same functionality Google Sheet has to offer. So I'm going to cancel it up and we're done with Control and F2. Then we have is, let's say, Control and Up. Just like this, you can hit onto the top of the cell. When you press on Control down, it will go to the end of the cell. Okay, first off, it's going to go to the end of the cell which has the data. And when you click on after there's no data, it will just go down at the bottom, which is rock bottom, which we basically say. Now, the next one is going to be Shift Tab. Now, when you press on Enter, it basically goes down, right? What if you want to go right? If you want to go right, then you're going to click on Tab. You can see how this basically works. But what if you want to go left without your left arrow key? Hold on to Shift and press on Tab, it will go left. So Enter for down, Shift Enter for up, Tab for right, Shift Tab for left. So now you know how these basically work. Okay. Now the last one is Tab. Just Tab, click on Tab. But eventually Tab has two different functions in your, let's say, Google Sheets or any spreadsheet program. Let's say you want to type in a function or a formula. Let's say I'm going to type in SUM. Now, instead of opening up the parentheses of the bracket, you can just hit on tab to lock in the first formula, which it suggests. Press on tab and will open up that function or formula for you so that you can start working on it. Let's say I'm going to type in equal, and then I'm going to do is count unique. Instead of typing it, I'm just going to press on tab and you will basically see the formula has been opened up. So now you know how the tab works in Google Sheets and also the spreadsheet programs. Okay, so hope you understood everything about this lesson on how you'll be able to make your work a lot more fluent by using keyboard shortcut keys and knowing about them. So basically these are one of the most useful, okay, and like casually used shortcut keys in Google Sheets and also spreadsheet based programs. So let's move on to our next lesson of Google Sheets.